Well, it's been a busy day today. I got to actually go to Walmart because I get my money orders there to pay the rent, and I have to go to the post office and, yes, purchase a stamped envelope so they can take it and put it in my landlord's P.O. box in the same building. But, oh well. But I did something different today. Instead of taking the bus, one of those electric scooters that the city provides was parked beside the apartment building. So I grabbed it. And that was a mistake. Because I felt like a child on a bicycle without training wheels for the first time. I had a hard time keeping my balance until I got moving a little bit faster. And out on this highway here, I stay on the sidewalk, but the lane comes right to the curb, and it's a skinny sidewalk, so I don't even like walking on it because it's so dangerous, but I was really scared to death riding a scooter on it. And then I was almost at Walmart. I was going kind of, the back way. If you're familiar with the area, I use that road beside Reed Funeral Home. But then I crashed it. Got my arm pretty good. I think that's all I got. I grabbed a handful of tissues before I left the house because I got, I don't know if you can see it, a big old blister there from a burn I got yesterday. I was afraid it might pop while I was out, so I had tissues, to put on it. I ended up using tissues to wipe the blood off my arm. Quite a bit of blood went all over my pants, and it took a while to stop bleeding. So I walked out of Walmart, and the scooter's still there. I was going to bring it home, but you got to scan it with your phone, and I scanned the QR code, and it says the battery was too low to ride it, so I couldn't ride it. So I walked to the bus stop after the post office and came home Safeway. And this big old blister on my hand. I was baking sugar cookies yesterday. I put this oven mitt on and grabbed a cookie sheet. Man, it felt like it was just touching my flesh. That oven mitt did nothing. So I threw it in the trash directly. But I should have known. The homeless girl I talked about, she gave it to me. She bought it somewhere and gave it to me. So I should have known it was not that good a quality. I should have used the regular hot pads. And when the cookies didn't turn out that good, they're thick enough to be cutouts. I wanted a flat old sugar cookie, that's all. But last week I made peanut butter cookies, and that was like a peanut butter disaster. I didn't know what I did wrong. They're just so thin. You know how you crisscross a fork on top of it? The first batch, no fork marks at all, and they're all flat. Second batch, they were flat too, but you could see where the fork marks were. I ate them. They didn't taste too bad. And I wanted to bake a loaf of bread last night, but after burning myself, I wasn't going to do no more baking. And tonight, after my fall, and Yeah, I'm tired. I get tired when I go out. I don't know why. I guess I'm gonna have to go out and start walking more. Because it just wears me out going to Walmart and post office and back. Well, given I had a crash, maybe that has a little effect on it. I can't say for sure. But what I was thinking about for today's video was talking about traveling. I actually did all my traveling when I was young, my 20s, 30s, and a little bit my 40s, not much. But if there's any young adults watching this, which I kind of doubt, but if you are, go travel now. Enjoy yourself. Don't wait till you're old and in the shape I'm in, then you can't even go and enjoy yourself because you get too tired and your knees don't work right, and you name it. So my first trip was Niagara Falls. Yeah, me and a buddy, we packed up a Jeep and we drove to Niagara Falls. We drove all night to get there. Well, not all night. We got there probably 2 or 3 in the morning. Just sat there by the falls not knowing what to do. And then we found a campsite. We went there and set up a tent in pitch dark. And I think we was only there for a couple days, not long. It was kind of neat up there. They got designated beer stores and designated liquor stores. Well, that's the way it was in the 80s. I don't know if it's still that way or not, but I used to buy Molson. I forget the actual name, but it's made by Molson. And bring those home. And the bottles are turnable, so next time you go to Canada, you take them and get your deposits back. And, well, my second trip, we drove out to Yellowstone Park. We were in my buddy's Land Cruiser, which is like a Jeep, if you ever seen an older model. And we had the top off and the doors off for the whole trip. And man, did I get sun. I got burnt, but after I was home, I had a savage tan or something. It was so dark. But we got to see the Badlands in South Dakota. Those are really cool. We went to the town of Wall. They have a drugstore there called Wall Drug. It's pretty famous. It's a touristy spot. And they got what they call jackalopes out there. They're not real. They're claimed to be part rabbit and part antelope or something. It's a funny looking character. But I bought a Wall Drug shirt and it had a jackalope insignia or picture on it. And we made it to Mount Rushmore. And there was a drive there in the Black Hills called the Needles Highway. It was just a loop going through the Black Hills, which we did that. It was nice. And we continued out to Yellowstone. Had to cross the Teton, just the Grand Teton Mountains. Yeah, that was my first experience with the road that just goes down, bends and bends and bends. And that was different. And we got to Yellowstone, set up camp, and we were sleeping. We had a 10-man tent, so there's plenty of room for us to sleep. And a ranger come, waking us up. Hey, you got food in your car. You gotta get out. You gotta hoist it up in a tree or put it in a public restroom. So whatever time in the morning it was, I didn't have enough rope or wasn't about to try hoisting it up in a tree. So I took it in the bathroom, which felt a little disgusting, but nobody touched it. And we got to see a moose came directly into the campground. There's a bull moose. He's big. He just kind of running all around in circles, and he stopped and took a piss, and he left. And that's the closest we got to any wildlife there. I mean, we've seen elk and deer. I don't remember if we've seen bison or not. But we did a tour at on the boardwalk. You go past all those whatever you call them, sulfur pools that are heated from underground. And Old Faithful. And on the way back, the way out, we always took, like state highways and stuff like that. We would stay off the main highways. But on the way home, it was a 2-week trip. But we was ready to get home, so we came straight across Route 80, or Interstate 80. So going through Nebraska on Interstate 80, I think you cross the North Platte River continually because the river bends, back and forth. And it got to be a joke. There it is again. There it is again. But then I started going to Vegas. First time there was 1990. Me and a buddy flew out there, stayed at the Imperial Palace. I think almost everybody during that time stayed at the Imperial Palace their first time. After that, I was always at Caesars or the Mirage or even Treasure Island. I spent one night at Bellagio too. I had a penthouse suite. Yeah, that was really sweet. Luxurious. Yeah, because I booked one kind and they sold out, so they upgraded us. It was great. And I had 10 years straight going to Vegas, sometimes twice a year, because we'd go out for Super Bowl. In January, February, whenever it was, and then we'd go probably sometime in the fall when it wasn't quite as hot out there. And, we were in a bar one night, and when we walked out of the bar, it was daylight already. So we're making our way back to our hotel, and you gotta know Vegas, or at least known it back then. We wanted to cut through Bally's Casino. So we were going up this access road to Bally's, and we wanted to go through their parking lot. Let's put it that way. So we went up this access road, it stopped, went nowhere. All you could do was walk inside the casino in Bally's. So that's what we did. I saw one of my favorite slot machines there. It was red, white, and blue, sevens. I stopped, I put a $20 bill in. I forget, is it a second pull or a third pull? And I hit the jackpot, $5,000. I was going home the next day, so it was nice. I got to take it all home with me. And the last time out there, I shifted more to blackjack and baccarat. Yeah, it was last day again. My dad and my uncle, they flew out with us, but they went to Laughlin. So they come back to Vegas, and I was sitting there playing baccarat. I was actually betting, $500-$600 a hand and doing well. So, I walked away a winner. I don't know how much for the trip, but they comped us all dinner. So that was very nice of them. But I guess big rollers get that kind of stuff. So I guess I was a little big roller that day. And then we, throughout that same time, the 90s, me and two buddies, we'd fly up to Chicago, spend the weekend, checking out the bars up there and just screwing off, having fun, drinking. And I don't know how many times we did that, probably half dozen times. And it was 98. I had a hard on to go to Paris. And none of my buddies were available to go at the time. So I went by myself. And I've never seen such beautiful architecture as there is in Paris. I mean, it's all old and, it's nice old, it's restored, it's in nice shape. But all the spheres they have going up and all the different designs, it was something to see. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Notre Dame, before it caught fire. It didn't catch fire when I was there, but I was not on my to-do list. So, and I stayed at the Louvre Motel, right across the street from the Louvre Museum. Which, I'm not a museum guy. I don't like that artsy-fartsy stuff, But I spent 4 or 5 days there. And my flight returning home was, I designed it this way, to go to Chicago. Because my buddy was coming in on the same day up to Chicago to meet me there to have one of our wild weekends. And I did take two other trips. Both trips wound up at Lake George in New York. One was an actual fishing trip, and the other one was just a camping trip. But it's nice country up in there. We got a boat with a 90 horsepower engine on it, and that was my first time in a boat that big or that fast. So I was driving it, and my hat flew off. I turned around and go pick it up off the water. I don't know. We might have caught 1 or 2 little fish. That was it. I fished a little bit in the Trent River. That was north of Toronto. That's on one of my trips to Niagara Falls. Caught a little rock bass there. So I didn't really go to the big fishing lakes as you would describe them. Where they got, the walleye and muskie, and, I didn't even have that kind of equipment with me to catch those kind of fish. But, yeah, get it out of your system early. Because when you're old, you won't be able to enjoy it as much as when you're young. I'm not saying you have to go party and drink the whole time like we did, but we've grown up since then. That's all put behind us. And that's what I wanted to say today is get your travel on while you're still healthy. Those will be more difficult when you're older and maybe not in so good a shape, or maybe having less money during retirement. So, yeah, get her on, get it done. Godspeed.